My name is Bibek Adhikari. I am your English instructor. In today's class, we are going to solve the poetry portion of Unit 7, that is, Not Everyone. So, let's begin. Right. We'll now study a poem called Not Everyone. Not everyone here can be a king. Not everyone here can sing. Not all the animals can cry. Not all the birds can fly. Not all the insects can see. Not all the people are like me. Not all the people believe in you, and not all the words are true. Not all the people can dive, not all the people can drive. Not all the people are kind, not all the people are blind. Not all the people love to go to school, and not all people are really cool. Not all the people can play guitar, and not all the people can be a rock star. Not all the people can bake, and not all the people love cake. Joy Galal. So that was the end of reading portion. Now we will understand and analyze the poem in different ways. First of all, we are now going to understand, there are the three levels of reading a poem, and they are, whenever we are reading anything, we follow the three levels, and those three levels, they help us to understand the poem better. Or any kind of literary text, does not matter whether it is a poem or a story or a novel. So three levels of understanding are very crucial when we are trying to understand literature. The first is what we called literal comprehension, and the second is what we call interpretation. And finally, we have critical analysis. So these three aspects make, reading more fulfilling. So these three levels are very significant when it comes to reading any kind of literary text. Correct? So apart from that, poetry follows different kind of rules. While reading poetry, we must be able to analyze the subtle literary elements as well as fully understand and enjoy the poem. As Archibald MacLeish once said, that poetry should not mean but be. So poetry should be, I know that. But more than that, poetry should also be read with a lot of tact. So tact is needed when we talk about poetry. What do we need when we are studying poetry? We need something called tact. Tact is very significant when it comes to reading, studying poetry. And without tact, understanding poetry is so lame and it would not be a fulfilling experience, right? The two elements that we should be focusing while understanding tact are, the first one being thematic analysis, and the second one being the artistic analysis. So in thematic analysis, we basically talk about the theme of the poem. So what is the poem, talking about? That is the basic question that teachers love to ask when they are talking about thematic aspect of the poem. But in the artistic analysis, we more focus on the rhetorics of the text, more on the language. We try to find out different literary elements that are used, similes, metaphors, pun, to name a few, and basically, understanding language and understanding that language can carry much more deeper meaning compared to everyday language is a fulfilling experience for literary readers. Now, as you can see in the poem contains very simple language. As you see, let us find the rhyme pattern first. We have a very normal A B B, very commonplace rhyme, A B B. So again, it follows A, or we can say not exactly A but C C. So I'm gonna write C C. It follows this pattern, correct? So we have A B B rhyme scheme, which is pretty much always used in poetry, most of the time, not always. So it follows a distinct, cadence, a distinct pattern. If you are a very tactful reader, you would find that this poem is very simple and follows a single rule, and the rule is starting from not and ending with a rhyme, a single word, rhyme, full rhyme. So not everyone here can be a king, not everyone here can sing, not all the animals can cry, not all the birds can fly. So if we study the cadence, we find that it's very simple, it's very straightforward, correct? So let me give you one example. Let's take a line from the poem. Not all the birds can fly. Not all the birds can fly. So this is the line from the poem. Not all the birds can fly. And how would you, scan this line? So scan it. Scan the line. Scanning the line means, finding out the stress pattern, finding the number of syllables, finding the cadence, finding the rhythm. So scanning is all about finding the rhythm of the poem. And how would you find the rhythm of the poem? Not all the birds can fly. So let's try one by one. Not all. So we have two syllables here. The birds, two syllable, can fly. So not all the birds can fly. Not is stressed. All can be also stressed. Doesn't matter, the is not stressed. Birds is stressed. Can is not stressed. Fly is stressed. So we have this pattern. So what is the rhythm of the poem? The rhythm is something like this. In fact, it is iambic pentameter, but slightly distorted form of iambic pentameter, I must say. So this is the rhythm of the poem. So how many feet do we have? We have 3 feet. That is 3 multiplied by 2, which is 6 syllables. 3 feet, 6 syllables. That is the pattern that we find in the poem. Not all the birds can fly. So the rhythm goes like this. Not all the birds can fly. So ascending order rhythm is here. So, valleys and crest are formed. Not all the birds can fly. If you read it distinctly, giving stresses at proper places. So you would find that there's certain rhythm to this line. Not all the birds can fly. Not all the birds can fly. And this distinct, feet is called an iamb. What is it called? It is called an iamb. You can remember this by saying I am, right? I am. So I is unstressed while yam is stressed. So what is the pattern? What is the metrical pattern? I am, right? So I am is used, but that's a little variation here. We call this spondy. Spondy is where both syllables are stressed. So it goes almost flat. Not all the birds can fly. So pretty easy. Sounds confusing, I know, because a lot of details are used. So, it's confusing to understand the basic rhythm of poem, but you can try. Not all the animals can cry. Not all the animals can cry. Okay. Not all the people are like me. So let's take another line. Not all the people can dive. No, not that line. Alright, let's take another line. So what would that line be? Not everyone here can sing. So that is the line. Not everyone here can sing. Now, the question is, can you scan this line? So I want you to scan it. Try right now. Pretty easy. Oh, not that easy. So it goes like this. Not everyone here can sing. Not everyone here can sing. Right? So this seems a little distorted. If we have to find out the rhythm, we would find something like this. Not everyone here can sing. So very distorted rhythm. I don't find particular IMs here. So this happens because poetry is always full of exceptions. We have a spondy here followed by an IM followed by a trochee followed by nothing. So a single stressed word. Pretty complex. So let me help you on scanson once again. So let's understand what scanning a poem really means. Scanning a poem. So how would you scan a poem? That is a question. First of all, you need to find the stressed words and the unstressed words. Generally, exception applies, but generally nouns are stressed, verbs are stressed, adjectives are stressed, adverbs are stressed, while pronouns are not stressed, prepositions are not stressed, auxiliary verbs are not stressed. So be verbs, has verbs, do verbs, they are not stressed. Also, articles are not stressed. What are articles? A, and, the. These words are not stressed. So auxiliary verbs be, has, do are not stressed. Articles a and the are also not stressed. That is to say that stressed words are important while the unstressed words are not so important. That is the main idea. Stressed words very important, unstressed not so important. So let me give you one example, a random example. With love and care, I take the poem home. With love and care, I take the poem home. Let's find out which words are stressed and which are not. So with love, with is a preposition, sorry, a conjunction, right? No, it's a preposition. Yes. So this is not stressed. Love is stressed. Love is a noun, stressed. And is a conjunction, not stressed. Care is stressed. Pronoun, not stressed. Verb, yes, stressed. Article, not stressed. Poem, stressed. Noun, again, stressed. So let's find the unstressed parts. With, unstressed. And, unstressed. I, unstressed. The, unstressed. Unstressed. Right? Pretty good. So let's pair them. Let's once again, what is an iamb? What is an iamb? Iamb is unstressed followed by stressed syllable. So iamb, remember, I am, right? I am. So it goes like this. So let's divide this verse into syllables. Two. Let's make a pair. Two. Once again, let's make a pair. Two. How many feet? So this is 1 feet. Let's count. One. This is 1 foot. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that is 5 feet. Once again, 5 feet. 5 feet. We call it penta. What do we call it? Penta. Pentameter. Since it is used in iamb, it is called iambic pentameter. What is it called? Iambic pentameter. That is 5 multiplied by 2 equals 10 syllables. How many syllables? 10. Let's count. How many syllables? 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So these are 2 syllables. 8, 9, and 10. Right? It's poem. So let's do valiant draw exercise. Let's make the arrow. So it goes like this. With love and care, I take the poem home. Poem home. So this follows this. Roughly follows this. This is a valley, while this is the crest. So it goes up and down, up and down, up and down. It is unstressed syllable followed by a stressed one. That's why it is called iamb. If we make something like a stressed syllable followed by an unstressed one, so it would go something like, how would it go? So it would be something like a falling one. So this is called, what is it called? It is called trochee. That is stress syllable followed by stress syllable. Trochee. Trochee. Trochee, right? Trochee. So let's read this line once again. We are scanning. Obviously, we are scanning a poem. With love and care, I take the poem home. With love and care, I take the poem home. How many feet? 5 feet. So the pattern is unstressed followed by stressed, unstressed, stressed. It goes like that. Valley and crest, valley and crest, valley and crest. I am. So the basic, rhythmic pattern that we find in iambic pentameter is something like this. So iambic pentameter follows this rhythm roughly. What is the rhythm? T, tum, T, tum, T, tum, T, tum, T, tum. How many did I write? 5? Right. So it goes like this. T, tum, T, tum, T, tum, T, tum, and finally T, tum. Right? Unstressed, stressed, unstressed, stressed, unstressed, stressed, unstressed, stressed, unstressed, and stressed. And the pattern goes up and down, up and down. So down and up, down and up, down and up, down and up. This is what we call iambic pentameter. How many feet once again? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 means penta, right? 5 multiplied by 2 equals 10 syllables. This is iambic pentameter. So we have something called trochaic pentameter too. Trochaic tetrameter. Just the reverse of iambic pentameter is trochaic tetrameter, correct? So this is, you can research yourself, research on trochaic pentameter or trochaic tetrameter, trochaic hexameter and stuff like that. Now let's talk about the theme of the poem. What is the poem all about? We studied about its language. We studied about the stress pattern. We found out the rhythm of the poem, how not everyone here can sing, follows a certain rhythmic pattern. We found out that, but that is all the artistic area of the poem. Now I want to talk about the thematic analysis. What does this poem talk about? This poem talks about individuality. Not everyone can be a king, not everyone here can sing, not all the animals can cry, not all the birds can fly. So in a way, this poem is celebrating the differences. What is it doing? It is celebrating the differences. The world is full of differences. The world is full of different people. Different kind of people live in this world. That's why the world is so happy. Imagine a world that is full of doctors, you see. Imagine a world that is full of scientists. How vulgar the world would be, right? The world is full of different people. Some are doctors, some are engineers, some are teachers, some are students, some are loafers. So that's why the world is beautiful. And in a way, this poem is trying to celebrate the differences. It is, the proclamation of individuality, right? This poem also tries to inspire, because in a way it says that no matter what the difference is, we all are humans. And not all the people can bake and not all the people can love cake. So in a way, it is trying to show us that it's good that we are humans, we are alive, we are young and happy, so there's no need to worry and stuff like that, right? So that is the thematic analysis of this poem. Now I taught you about the artistic part of the poem, and also I taught you about the thematic portion of the poem. Now let me give you one homework. The homework is going to be very easy. All you have to do is research on iambic pentameter and write how it is used in English poetry. Pretty easy, this one. All you have to do is go to the internet, google.com, or maybe walk into your nearest library and research on iambic pentameter. You can find many books on poetry, on criticism, right? All you have to do is go through those books and find the dreaded words iambic pentameter and write how it is used in English poetry. That's your homework. Easy, right? So with this, we have come to end of today's class. If you have any questions or suggestions regarding this video series, feel free to write us at learning@deerwalk.edu.np. Thank you.